Well, good morning, man. We all have stories to tell. God is always, he's he talked to us in different ways, and he has a plan for all of us, and every plan is different, and how he gets you involved in the plan with your lives is differently, whether you're totally down and out and need help, or you're just walking down the street and you just get this is good because someone taught something to you, and it all of a sudden made sense, that type of thing. So for me, I was in my 40s. I can't give a day or time because it was just one of those times that God really spoke to me. But prior to that, I had, I'm forever thankful to an older gentleman down the road. He was a Salvation Army fellow. And we shared rides to co-op meetings back in the day. And he had me in the car. I couldn't get out. And he started, "Chris, are you going to heaven? Do you know that you're going to heaven?" "Sure I am, Wilbur, sure I am." "Do you really know?" That type of thing, eh? And almost started scaring me. He says, "Well, I'm a United Church person. I know I'm going to heaven because they say everyone's going to heaven." "No, Chris, no." It doesn't work that way. And it really kind of shocked me. But, after several of these encounters with anyways, he started teaching me Revelation. Like, who in the world hits a newbie over the head with the book of Revelation? Yeah. But I'm a detailed person. Like in a Bible study, I want to know the verses. I want to know how they all interact. I want to know the details. And I am in life too, and I ask a lot of questions to the point my wife says, "Chris, be quiet." But that's me, and God knows that. And I guess the book of Revelation was the perfect book to start answering questions that I had. And it was just sort of one evening. I'll be a little bit honest, like I wasn't just the perfect little guy with a halo. Like every marriage, it's rocky. There's ups and downs, and you're going from two people to be one person, and that happens. It comes every other day. You're good and bad. We weren't mature enough in our marriage to have things tickety-boo, and so there was some tough days for both of us. And I know for a fact it was one of those tough days. And boom, it just all made sense. And thanks to Wilbur, I knew what to do. But before that, I read the book of Revelation. And who in the world does that? At the beginning of their walk. But I wanted to know that he was telling me the truth, because I want the truth from anybody. And I'll even check you out sometimes, just because, well, we're supposed to, as far as the word goes. And he was right. And whoa. So having that in my back pocket, I knew that he was telling me something that God was working through him. I knew that. And I received the Lord one night. There wasn't fanfare out there. I wasn't down and out to the point I was going to die. And all of a sudden I saw the light. I was just tickety-booing along. Yeah, I had a bad day, but still. So it was good. It was great. And I'm sure the angels in heaven were applauding, because they probably do for every occurrence of this. But there wasn't huge fanfare here on earth. It was just me. I didn't even tell Donna for a while. And then Donna, a couple of years later, she received the Lord. And I have to say, so this is in our 40s, and we're 65 now, and our marriage has been super. Sure, there's the odd little, why are you side seat driving? That type of thing. But our marriage is great, and and I think that's one of the keys is not being unequally yoked, right? So, and I know many of you know that. So that was a great experience. That is a great experience for us. So that's my testimony. But I do want to share my close encounter with God. God doesn't seem, that I'm aware of, talk to me that much in my walk. But it's probably my fault. I'm probably not listening. And I have to learn to do that. But this one time, it was my accident, 2007, I guess. Yeah, 7. It was one of those nights. I worked in Guelph at the time, so I was, get up at 5 in the morning, feed the calves, get ready, wail down there, work, come home around 6:30. It was a long day, and I did it for 4 years at that point, and then work afterwards because it was during the week, and don't want to have everything piled up on the weekend, so Dad and I would be doing something. So I was multitasking because I believe that was, you're more productive that way. So I was cleaning out the sprayer, and he and I were working on a shed, just strengthening it up. So I was going back and forth, you put 100 gallons in, whip it out, and do it again, and after 3 times in my mind, the sprayer's clean. So I was on my 3rd time, and like 1,000 times before, reaching a little bit, hitting those solenoids, letting the water shoot through the boom, and after a little bit of that, then empty it. And the pump, of course, is right here, so you're reaching a little bit in my case. But I had done it for thousands of times, and then, bang, it got me. I'm standing there, fully dressed, doing my thing, and a millisecond after, I'm naked, sitting beside the unit, 3-point hitch arm here, PTO shaft, whipping, all my stuff on it, right beside my ear. I was horrified, but sitting. And so that's how I was. I went from standing and living whole to broken. And just in a millisecond, like, whoa. And the thing's just doing that. But the power that the shaft has got, nothing stops it. You can't stop that. And so that's where I was. So I was awake for everything. So your mind is incredible. I started thinking, okay, what just happened? All I had was my T-shirt collar, that little wee thing around the T-shirt. That was around my neck still. Why? I don't know. I got it off because I was afraid of getting caught by the thing beside me. So I took stock, and I saw my leg. You got 2 bones sticking out here, right? Everyone does. I only had the tibia left. Licked clean. Foot gone, the other bone gone, my knee exposed. And my first thought was, this isn't supposed to happen. Accidents aren't supposed to happen. But I was tired. I had done the job 1,000 times, so I was just careless, and I was taking a shortcut. I should have gone to the tractor and hit the switches like any normal person would, but you don't do things like that after 1,000 times doing it this way. Yeah, farmers are bad. So that's why it happened, or why I let it happen, because it shouldn't have. So the first thing my mind thought was, is it worth it? Should I just lay over and die, or should I fight? So I remember feeling the only thing that worked was this. Everything else I couldn't see. This arm I could not see. This leg I could not see. So I felt my belly to see if my innards were still there. I couldn't look really down, and I didn't feel anything other than flesh. I felt my head to see if my brains were still in. I didn't know, because if anything was not there, it's not worth it, right? Because it's a huge battle at this point, because I'm facing the wrong way. Dad's that way. Wow. Dad has he knows I'm over here, but he doesn't see me. So you wouldn't sense there was an emergency if he happened to look, you know. So my brains were in, my belly, my innards were in, and then I checked my breathing, and it hurt. My breathing hurt, but I could breathe. So I remember saying to myself, I have enough to go for it. Like, holy, so what a profound thing to say. I have enough to go for it. So I prayed to God, thanked Him for my life, and I asked Him, please give me the strength to get out of here. And I struggled to get out of here because the arm is right here, and I'm just right against the back of the tractor, and I can't move. So I remember trying to get underneath and having trouble grabbing the tire ribs on the tire ribs on the tractor to try and get some leverage. So I think I just grabbed the end of the 3-point hitch arm and just sort of fell forward and started. I was going out like this because it was the only thing that worked. Then I could see my leg coming, just like an octopus. You know, you move it, everything comes together. So I could see my leg coming, I could see my arm coming, couldn't feel a thing. And so I got out about 10 feet, and I ran out of gas. And I remember, okay, at that point, I'm going to call, so I'm calling help. And I don't know how loud, and I don't know how long. Then finally I stopped doing that, because I just had no gas. I had no blood left. I was white as the table. And so I knew that I was dying. So I said goodbye to my family. And then all of a sudden, that went away. And I started feeling extremely peaceful. A peace that there's words that I cannot explain my feeling with words. Because it was looking back, it was the peace of God. I was in His arms. It was, whoa. It didn't matter if I owed you $1 million, Harv. Didn't matter. Or if you owed me $1 million. It was that sense is what happened on life didn't matter, down here on earth, didn't matter anymore. And it was just a fantastic sense of peace. And today, I am not afraid of dying. Of course, like the rest of you, I don't want to die yet, because we have too much to live for, family and what have you. But when the time comes, I'm looking forward to it when the time comes. But this is the next part that really got me, because I've always known about out-of-body experiences, seeing lights, seeing maybe angels, I'm not sure. Donna's father saw lights that he could not explain when he had a stroke. He came back, but he loved talking about it. And I never knew what to think about it. But I walked away. I mean, walked. I had a different body. But I remember walking away down a hallway, just like this one. And it was lit up. I saw nobody. I heard nothing. But I'm walking. I don't know where I'm going. But it felt good, you know. And it came to a T-bone. I had to choose right or left. It's funny how the brain is. I remember thinking, geez, God, after what I went through, now I have to decide if I go right or left. I chose to go left because I knew my house was that way. I knew help was that way. And I didn't even get that far because I felt something. Dad came. And this is where I still cry. He had Parkinson's. This is a 11 years. And he had to walk. He could see something. And he's shuffling. That's how Parkinson's works. And he knew it was me, and he didn't know if I was alive or dead. Mm-hmm. So when he touched me, I guess he was checking. And I did respond to him, so. And he ran to the house. Told Donna, she came out. Donna's a nurse, so that helped. And she brought all sorts of stuff because she knew I'd be in shock. Towels and what have you. And so 911 ambulance comes from Wingham, and I'm sure he hit every bump. But before that, I'm laying there, and I could. Everybody was there. Well, lots of police and the ambulance attendants, and all I could see was boots walking around me. And excuse my language, but somebody said, "How do we load them?" And the boss of them said, "Get them the hell on." So they just rolled me on, I guess, because there is a point when you've got a victim. You know, you got to watch for necks, you got to watch for backs, but there is a point. Just get them the heck on. And the policeman that was there, I don't know if you remember, Vu Pham. Donna met him, wonderful man, and he was slaughtered a few years later by some idiot, crazed man. Anyways, so we get into Wingham, and I'm still awake at this point, and I could hear voices, and I recognized one nurse, and then I'm out. Helicopter to Victoria Hospital in London. And when I woke up, my chest was extremely sore. I said to Donna, like, "Oh, I'm so sore here." And she says, "Well, that's why they were doing this to you." Because I basically stopped breathing in the helicopter. So I broke my wrist. This was okay. Broken ribs, broken back. My shoulder was dislocated because my arm was where it can't go. Elbow was dislocated. My fingers and wrists were very, very upset. My femur, the big bone here, broken in two places. The head, the ball was off, and it had broke further down. And my hip was okay, but my ball was out of it. My knee and my toes are as arthritic as they can get. If it rains, it's really bad. So they were stressed out badly, and my knees not the best. So after all the surgeries, they cut all my muscles here. So I've got knots in them, and it looks big and thick, but nah, it's not muscle. So, it does restrict you. But I remember a doctor saying, "Chris, I was struggling. What's my life going to be like now?" I lost 80% of my blood. I went to backing up, I went to a Red Cross meeting and clinic, and somebody asked the question. I guess there's always somebody that asked the lady, "Oh, how much blood does if a person loses before there's problems?" And the lady said, "Oh, 60%. Then you got brain damage." I lost 80.
We won't say anything, Chris.
Thank you. My memory's a little bit. I lost my memory for everything for the 5 years prior. I remember things beyond that. So there was many years where that memory started closing the gap. But I think God, Ernest, you asked me, did God talk to you? Did you get any feelings about God? And back at the time when you asked, it was too fresh. Memory was gone. Other than praying to Him and feeling the presence of God, that's all I could tell you. But now, he was speaking to me in volumes, and it's changed my life. It's, I don't wish this upon anybody, but for me, that's what it took, I suppose, to, I'm saying, God, I was saved prior, but it's changed my life in several ways. I value life. Now, I'm still a hard liner when it comes to evil. That's just the way I am, built that way. I detest evil, and whether it's in a person or a thing or whatever, in an event, I don't care. I detest it, and I'll fight it. But as far as life goes, it's as precious. It's so precious. I even cry at romance movies, like chick flicks. Donna likes flicks. So while she's awake, we watch a chick flick, and I'll cry. And then as soon as I sense she's asleep, turn it to something that's more me. Yeah. So there's lots of other things to say, but it's an experience that I hold dear, even though I have this and my life has changed. There's nobody can tell me that there isn't a God. There's so many things. Okay, I had a guy ask me, and he knew I was a believer. Well, your God, why did he let this happen? He had the power to prevent it. And I said to him, and it just came. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, but I'm still alive. There's so many dominoes. I like calling it dominoes because if any one of them fell, you're dead. And I'm in the house before this, ready to go outside. It's a cool May 22nd, at around 7:30 at night. I got brand new Tough Ducks. You all know what they are. And I had 20-year-old Tough Ducks. And these guys are just they're asking to be put on. And it just came to me, put these guys on. Was it my idea? I don't know. I don't think so. Because they were torn, ripped, patched, in rough shape. Boots. I've got my work boots. I'm working on a building. I should be wearing steel-toed work boots for crying out loud. But I chose, those slip-on insulated boots? They're green and they come up about this high. Put them on. Walk out the door. And if I didn't have those things on, they wouldn't have come off. Work boots, I'd be doing this. And Tough Ducks, I'd be doing that. And God allowed it to happen, but he made sure I was going to live. And it was cold. So you all know if you have tremendous blood loss, cool weather is better. There you go. He had that. And I don't have brain damage, which nobody really knows about other than me. I pretend I don't have any brain damage, but no, nothing serious, Sure, memory, but I'm on tremendous drugs because of the phantom pain. I can wiggle my toes. You know that? I can wiggle them. I can do this with them. I can clench them because when things are hurting, I clench them. But my nerves, the nerves that come down, they're feeling my leg being torn off. It hasn't that has not been turned off. And normally things heal, then you start feeling better, right? If you hurt yourself. Well, they're screaming with pain. They're telling my brain, Chris, you've lost your leg, this hurts. They're screaming, so the drugs I'm on, they kind of help tell the brain switch off. So without them, I have pain all day. At night I can sleep most times, so that's good. but it hurts all day. But if I wasn't on the drugs, it's a electric fence. You know what that is? Mm-hmm. It's that bad. Believe me, it's like that. I've had some bad episodes, and especially if I get emotional. More than just a tearful romance movie, but if I get internally upset, I can have some bad nights. And I've told Donna it was so bad. Give me a gun, I want to die, because that's the only way out of it. It was the only way. So I ended up overdosing on drugs to see. Well, I had no choice, so I overdosed on my drugs and wait, and it just comes and comes. It's terrible. It's terrible. But that's what I live with, and it reminds me of, you know what, actually, it reminds me of being in the arms of God. You know, because if things got too good, you'd start forgetting, right? Yeah, so here's my memory right here. And I have a really good leg. They're expensive, it's computerized. It allows me to be, our operative word was, while I was rehabbing, was normal. Donna, this will help me to be normal. This makes me more normal. That's what I was grabbing for. And Donna is just so good. She's just been my rock. And while my dad was alive, he was too. I'm glad my mom was gone, because she couldn't have taken it, I'm sure. Yeah. So that's kind of it. Yeah, like I said, you rehearse a bunch of things, you know, and brain damage stops you from remembering it. But I thank you all for listening. I know that you've maybe heard bits and pieces of it, but it's been a big deal. And what I want to do, I had no help. I mean, I had no... I desperately needed a person other than a doctor to tell me it's going to be okay. I want someone with no leg to come to me and tell me that. I needed that, and there was nobody. So I looked at magazines and tried to read stories and all that. So I said to Donna, like, hey, if we hear about somebody, give them my name. I want to go and talk to them and tell them it's going to be okay. Yeah. But you ask God, you wonder, what was the purpose, you know? So, you know, I spoke at a lot of farm groups and church groups, and I thought, well, if I save one life, you know, about farm safety, then it's worth it. And I've had a lot of people come up to me afterwards. They're confessing to me that when I was 10, the PTO got me and it threw me 30 feet. That happened to my Donna's cousin, and I didn't know that. Or it took my shirt off, it took my pants off. So it reminds people of how it happened to me, so if it helps them, that's great. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.